the sitting position, the typical thing is people sit like this. And, anytime you have to reach for a chord, you're down like this to get to it, And, I mean, that working so hard to get to everything. So I like to think of it more like it's a cello, with the neck up here. And that I can spread way out without having to hunker down at all. So I can, I can hit that chord without even working at it, in comparison. So I set the heel of my guitar on my leg, and I have this is just it keeps my arm from laying on the top of the guitar, which deadens the sound a little bit. So I have my arm on that and my leg, and I position myself so I can hold it just like that. So I'm not having to hold the weight of my guitar or anything, and I can go, like that, and I play like that all the time. I have one guitar that actually has a knee cut out of the bottom of the guitar, so it actually sits on my leg better, and makes it come down a little bit more, and the whole thing is just a little bit better. But Dave Bertoncini built me a custom guitar that has that feature even,
Wow.
But,
Now I've noticed this guitar here has just an incredible amount of projection in the room we're sitting in. When you first started playing, I mean, obviously it helps the way you play and your attack and everything. Of course, that's in the fingers as well. But there's a ton of projection. It's a beautiful sound. Now, have you found that you gravitate towards certain guitars, and that do you play differently if you play an electric versus an acoustic?
Oh yeah, well, like an electric guitar is like playing outside of the house with the guitar on the inside. I mean, it's like, it's kind of an out of body experience a little bit to me, because like with this, I play a chord, I hear it come right out of the guitar, and I can feel the vibration on my chest and everything. On an electric guitar, it makes almost no sound in and of itself, and you're hearing the sound coming out from Mars over here from your amplifier, And I don't get much of a kick out of playing electric guitars, although I'll have to say, when I first started, all of my early playing from 66 to 76 was all electric guitar, because in those days you couldn't play out with an acoustic guitar because there was no way to amplify them. And so I'm not like knocking electric guitars, but for me personally, I only use them when that's the sound I'm after, but like if you're trying to get some down and dirty sound or string bending and all that, electrics are great. Nylon string guitar is really good for Bossa Nova music and things that are, Latin or Spanish sounding, Spanish classical music, flamenco music. That all sounds right on a nylon string guitar. I have a resonator guitar that I use for single note lines an awful lot, and it's like listening to an alto woman singing with soul. It's just got this, I don't know, it sings. That's the best word I can use for it. And so every instrument has something about it that's interesting. I have what I call a baritone high string guitar, which is tuned completely different than a standard guitar. And I can do things on it that nobody can do on any other guitar. Like it's that narrow little window. It's really great at, And so anyway, I've got a 1923 Gibson L3, which sounds just great if you're doing "I don't want to set the world on fire." If you're trying to do one of those old tunes that sounds like they're sung through a megaphone, I mean, that is the guitar for it. So the guitar that you're playing does kind of help dictate the style that you play.